There's an animal in Brazil that nobody thinks to call a gardener. She's named for a wolf, but she isn't one. She stands on legs so long she can see above most of a golden sea of grass, and she is the very last member of her own kind on Earth. And every single night, without any plan and without knowing it, she plants an orchard.
She plants an orchard?
1 footstep at a time. She eats a fruit, walks on, eats another. The seeds she carries inside her go from having less than 1 chance in 100 of ever waking up to having nearly 9 chances in 10. Her own body wakes them up, quietly, while she's just walking and hungry and listening to the grassland. And behind her, across 10 square miles, the orchard is always growing. Welcome back to the Fenekie Explorer Club, where every animal is a superhero in disguise.
Calling all Fennekians.
This week, we're heading to the Cerrado, the great golden grassland of Brazil, and we've found something extraordinary.
She plants a fruit tree in every single footstep, and she has no idea she's doing it.
Let's go. The Cerrado. It comes from Portuguese and means something like dense or closed off, though standing in it, you wouldn't call it that. One of the most open landscapes on Earth.
Because it's a grassland.
A grassland savanna. Picture a sea of grass rolling to the horizon in every direction, tall and wild, the color of ripe wheat and amber and reddish gold, and when the morning wind moves through it, the whole surface shimmers and lifts like water catching light. The Cerrado covers roughly a quarter of Brazil, bigger than most of Europe. And scattered through the grass, beautiful gnarled trees shaped by fire into twisted, ancient forms, thick, corky bark, a patient landscape, something very old. And here's what most people don't know. The Cerrado is the world's most biodiverse savanna, around 5% of all Earth's species, over 12,000 plant species, more than 7,000 of them found nowhere else.
And people don't talk about it the way they talk about the Amazon.
They really don't. Most overlooked biome on the planet. And if you want to find a pip, the Cerrado is the only place to look.
She lives only there?
Primarily, she ranges across parts of Brazil, Argentina, and Paraguay, but the heart of her world is the Brazilian Cerrado. And when you find her there, the first thing you notice before you've made sense of what you're looking at is a pair of very large, very round ears appearing above the surface of the grass. And below those ears, a head the color of ripe chestnuts. And below that, legs. Very long, distinctly black legs wading through the gold.
Those legs.
Those legs. That's what everyone says first. She's a maned wolf. Her scientific name, if you want it, is Chrysocyon brachioris, which in Greek means roughly golden dog with a short tail. And honestly, every part of that name earns itself. But what the name doesn't prepare you for is how she looks. She stands about 90 centimeters at the shoulder. That's 3 feet, about kitchen counter height. And she is the tallest wild canid on Earth, taller at the shoulder than any gray wolf, any fox.
She's taller than a wolf?
At the shoulder, yes. Not heavy, the way a wolf is. Slim and elegant, stretched upward. Her body is warm chestnut red. Down from her neck, a mane, distinctly black, that stands up when she's alert. Large, rounded ears, and then the legs. Long, lean, deep black in the lower half, like dark stockings pulled all the way up.
The fox on stilts.
Exactly right. And here's what makes her biologically unique. She's the sole living species in her own genus, Chrysocyon. Membership, just her, no close cousins. She and the gray wolf share the broader dog family, but she has her own completely separate branch, and she is the only living thing on it.
She's not just rare, she's singular.
She has been evolving her own way for a very long time into something no one else in the dog family ever thought of. Designed specifically for the Cerrado. Those long legs are exactly the legs you need to wade through tall grass while still reading the landscape from above. Some of the Cerrado grass can reach 180 centimeters, 6 feet tall, in the densest patches. She can see over most of it. Her eyes sit about a meter off the ground, just over 3 feet, reading the golden sea the way it was meant to be read.
The orchard walk. Walk me through it. What is actually happening?
It starts with the wolf apple, the food she loves most, and the plant that depends on her most. It grows low in the Cerrado grass, its fruit hanging from the stem, yellow-green, roundish, sometimes as heavy and large as a grapefruit. She finds it by smell, nose reading the wind, and then the smell of ripe wolf apple reaches her, and she stops, and she moves toward it.
And she eats the whole fruit?
Fruit and seeds and all. Each wolf apple can hold up to 500 small dark seeds. They go in with everything else. In the fruiting season, she eats enormous quantities. It can make up the majority of her diet for months. She's not thinking about the seeds, she's just hungry.
And then she walks on.
Here's what took researchers a while to work out. If you take a wolf apple seed and place it on the ground, let it fall naturally from the plant, give it soil and rain and warmth, less than 1% of those seeds will ever germinate. Less than 1 in 100 will ever wake up and grow. The wolf apple seed has a hard outer shell that is very effective at keeping it dormant. Left to itself, the seed almost always stays asleep.
That's almost none of them waking up.
But seeds that have traveled through pipe? Those seeds have germination rates between 62 and 88%. That's somewhere between 6 and nearly 9 in 10, depending on the study and the conditions. From less than 1% to more than 60, that is not a small improvement.
What is happening inside her to make that jump?
It's called scarification. During the journey through her digestive system, the hard outer shell of the seed gets worked on, roughened, worn down in exactly the right way. The defenses that were keeping the seeds sealed and sleeping are reduced. When that seed reaches the Cerrado soil, it's ready to absorb water, start the process, open. She doesn't plan any of this. Her body does it automatically, the same thing it does every time she eats. She is simply hungry. The seed is simply along for the ride.
She wakes the seeds inside her.
That's the crown fact. She wakes the seeds inside her. And she walks on through her territory, 27 square kilometers, about 10 square miles, moving from dusk through the dark into dawn. Wherever she goes, wherever she happens to be when those seeds leave her, they fall into the Cerrado soil, ready to wake, ready to grow.
So behind her, stretching across 10 square miles,
An orchard, not a planned garden, not rows of anything, wild and scattered and organic, exactly wherever her footsteps happen to fall on a night when the wolf apple blew ripe. A new seedling here, a young plant there, an established tree somewhere else, all placed exactly where she happened to be when she needed to eat. The orchard of the Grassland Gardener, built by hunger, built by walking, built without any awareness that it was being built at all.
That might be my favorite superpower we've ever covered.
It might be mine. The gap between what she thinks she's doing, which is eating, and what she's actually doing, which is restoring the Cerrado one footstep at a time, is one of the most quietly extraordinary things in nature. The wolf apple has built its entire future around her gut, and she doesn't know she's carrying.
tell me what a night looks like for Pip, a regular night.
She wakes as the light is going, most active from dusk through the night and into dawn. The Cerrado midday is intensely hot, so she rests. But at dusk, when the sky shifts from gold to ember and the temperature drops, she's up and moving.
She moves a lot.
She moves through the whole night. Those long legs carry her at a comfortable, unhurried stride. The territory known the way you know the rooms of your own home. Every hollow, every familiar smell, every place where the wolf apple plants grow thick. She'll cover a large portion of that 10 square miles in a single night, just reading the world as she moves.
She's also hunting.
She's also hunting. When wolf apple isn't available, rodents, frogs, insects, armadillos, birds. Done almost entirely by sound. Each ear rotates independently on its own axis, so one can face forward while the other faces sideways, reading two directions at once. She hears the dry scurry of a mouse changing direction, the soft hop of a frog between stems, a small thing shifting in a burrow several meters away.
And then she moves?
She lowers herself, slowly. That tall frame folds toward the ground, quiet and patient and steady. She's not a pack hunter, she's a listener. She holds still enough that the grassland tells her exactly where to go.
What about scent?
It's her primary written language. She marks her territory as she moves, and the smell is strong, very strong. Compounds called pyrazines, and they are pungent. Other maned wolves read it perfectly and adjust their routes. But if you happened to walk through her territory and came across one of her markers, you would know.
Noted for when we visit.
Worth being prepared. But the function is exactly what you want. Clear, durable, unmistakable across 27 square kilometers. I am here. This is mine. This is where I walk.
And she walks it alone?
Alone, yes. She's a solitary forager, and that's genuinely how she was made. The solitary life isn't a deprivation, it's the natural shape of her world. But she does share that territory with a mate. He ranges across the same 27 square kilometers independently, rarely in the same location during foraging hours. They forage separately, sleep separately, hunt separately. The partnership is real and lasting.
They keep in touch through the call.
Through the roar bark. At dusk, Pip raises her head and sends a sound rolling out across the Cerrado. Not a howl, something lower and slower, a deep, extended sound that pulses outward in steady beats. The roar bark can carry up to 3 kilometers, that's close to 2 miles, all the way to wherever her mate is in his own part of the territory.
And he answers?
He answers, the same deep, patient sound rolling back from out there in the dark. I'm here, I'm well. And then they both go on with their separate nights, the partnership maintained across 2 miles of golden grass, 2 voices finding each other and letting go.
A love story in sound.
Told across 2 miles every single night. When they raise pups, here's what surprises most people. The pups are born dark, almost black. Nothing like either parent, small enough to hold in 2 cupped hands, the color of the deep, rich Cerrado soil.
Not golden at all.
Dark and dense. For the first 10 weeks, she is the darkest thing in the golden world. And then the color comes in, warm reddish gold spreading downward the way sunrise comes over a hillside. After 10 weeks, she's golden. Those long black legs beginning to show, those big round ears spreading wide, a small grassland gardener in the making. In a few more months, she'll disperse, find her own territory, eat her own wolf apples, wake her own seeds. The orchard grows because she's here too. It's generational.
What does she give to the Cerrado? What happens if she's gone?
The wolf apple struggles. Not immediately, not all at once, but the regeneration rate collapses. Without Pip, seeds have less than 1% chance of waking up. With her, 6 to 9 times that. The wolf apple has spent an enormous time building its reproduction around her. There is no plan B.
And if the wolf apple goes?
Everything that depends on it shifts or loses ground. Other animals eat the fruit. Insects feed on the flowers. She is what ecologists call a keystone disperser, a linchpin whose absence would change the shape of the whole grassland. The Cerrado is different because she's in it.
She's been in it a long time.
Very long time. She is the Cerrado's own invention. Those long legs for that specific tall grass. Her gut and the wolf apple's hard shell evolved together, each making the other work. That relationship took a very long time to build, and the result is visible all across her territory. Wolf apple plants growing in the warm, dark soil near the old termite mounds where the earth is richest and loosest, exactly where Pip walks and eats and plants most.
The whole system interlocked.
Pull one piece out, and the shape changes. She's not decorative, she's load-bearing.
How is she doing? What's her situation, honestly?
The Cerrado has lost roughly 80% of its original extent in the last 50 years. Soybean farming and cattle ranching mostly. The Golden Sea is now, across much of that range, flat, brown fields as far as you can see. When the grass goes, the wolf apple goes with it. And when that goes, Pip walks to the edge of her territory, nose reading the air for that familiar fruit smell, and finds nothing.
A fence.
A fence, or a flat, bare, turned-over field going as far as she can see. No wolf apple, no grass she recognizes, no place to deposit what she's carrying. The gardener arriving at a garden that's been taken away.
That's a picture, not a statistic.
That picture matters more than any number I could give you. She doesn't have a word for what happened to the grass. She just walks the fence line, one way and then the other, reading the air, finding nothing, until she turns back toward whatever golden Cerrado still remains and goes on planting what she can.
What's her conservation status?
Globally, the IUCN classifies her as near threatened. Not the worst category. It means there's time. Roughly 17,000 mature individuals in the wild. To give that a picture, every maned wolf alive in the world would fill a large sports stadium, not crowded. Each one used to moving alone through 10 square miles, one stadium's worth of solitary gardeners.
And most of them are in Brazil.
Over 90%, which means the Cerrado isn't just her home, it's the only home. Protect enough of it, and she keeps planting. Lose enough of it, and she runs out of space to plant in.
And the hopeful part?
The hopeful part is that she is not a passive character in this story. Every single night, she's planting the grassland back. Every wolf apple tree that grows from seeds she carried is a piece of Cerrado restored, a food source for the next generation, a tree for the next walker to rest under. You don't have to build her an orchard, you just have to give her enough grass to walk through. She will do the rest.
She grows the world she lives in.
And the tree she rests under at the end of her night might be one she planted herself seasons ago when she was hungry and the wolf apple smell was strong and everything worked just right. She'll fold herself against the trunk, those long legs going still, and she'll rest. She doesn't know it's hers, but it is.
Quiz time for the Fenekins.
3 questions, go ahead.
Question 1. What is the maned wolf called, and in what way is that name misleading?
She is called a maned wolf, and it's misleading because she's not a wolf in any close sense. She's the sole living species in her own genus, Chrysocyon, with no close relatives among wolves, foxes, or wild dogs. She's in the dog family, yes, but she is her own branch of it, entirely alone.
Question 2. A wolf apple seed lying on the ground has less than 1% chance of growing. What happens to it when it travels through Pip?
Her digestive system works on the hard outer shell of the seed, softening the defenses that kept it dormant. From less than 1 in 100 waking up to somewhere between 6 and 9 in 10. She wakes the seeds inside her. She doesn't know she's doing it. The orchard is the accident of her appetite.
Last question. At dusk, Pip raises her head and calls. What does it sound like? How far does it travel, and who is she calling?
The roar bark, a deep, extended, low sound. Not a howl, something slower and more resonant, rolling out in pulses. It can carry up to 3 kilometers, close to 2 miles. Her mate is somewhere in his own portion of the territory foraging alone. He answers back with the same deep sound. 2 voices, 2 miles of golden grass, the dark between them full of that low, steady call.
What stays with me most about Pip, walking her whole life, and the lives of all the Pips before her, planting an orchard she never sees, feeding a world she doesn't know she's feeding, and somewhere out there right now, she's doing exactly that, walking, eating, walking, and the orchard is growing.
Wherever she walks. If you want to go into the Golden Sea with her tonight, the Explorer story this week puts you right there in the Cerrado at dusk, moving through the grass with Pip. A quiet one. Beautiful to fall asleep to.
It really is.
That's the maned wolf, a real creature in a real place doing real things that sound like magic.
If you want to go deeper, the storybook, the pictures, all of it, find us at Fenekie.com. That's spelled Fenekie.
Until next week, Fenekins, keep wondering.